Good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining us tonight. This regular scheduled council meeting of September 14th, 2020. My name is Mally Rosetta, and I'm the council president for the city of Hartford. And I am calling this meeting to order. Mr. Clerk, could you please call the roll?
Yes. Councilwoman Bermudez.
Present.
Councilman Clark. Councilman Clark. Councilman Gale.
Here.
Councilman LeBron. Councilman LeBron. Councilman Mitchum.
Here.
Councilwoman Rosado.
Present.
Councilwoman Rossetti.
Here.
Councilman Sanchez. Councilman Sanchez.
Mr. Clerk, they are trying to log in as we speak.
Okay. Councilwoman Surgeon.
Here.
Councilman LeBron.
Here.
Councilman Clark. Councilman Sanchez. You have
Mr. Clerk, I believe, yes, Councilman Clark is on.
Councilman Clark
Here.
and Councilman Sanchez. He was here a minute ago, but you have a quorum.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. And now would you please lead us to the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. Mr. Majority Leader, you have the floor.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Madam President, before we proceed, could I just request a brief moment of silence for the passing of Congressman John Lewis?
I finally found my way back.
Ready?
Thank
All
you.
right. Thank you, Madam President. To you, I would like to make the motion that we approve the following minutes for the council meetings of May 11th, May 23rd, June 8th, June 22nd, July 13th, and August 10th.
Second.
Motion has been made and properly second. Mr. Clerk, could you please call the roll?
Councilwoman Bermudez.
Yes.
Councilman Clark.
Yes.
Councilman Gale.
Yes.
Councilman LeBron.
Yes.
Councilman Mitchum.
Yes.
Councilwoman Rosado.
Yes.
Councilwoman Rossetti.
Yes.
Councilman Sanchez.
Yes.
Councilwoman Surgeon.
Yes.
Motion passed.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. Mr. Majority Leader, you have the floor.
Thank you, Madam President. Through you, I would like to make the motion that we place the following items on the consent calendar. Just item number 1, Mayor Bronin with the company resolution authorizing the city to accept a grant of $5,000 from the State Historic Preservation Office to hire a consultant to help formally establish the Charter Oak Monument within the Charter Oak Place District. Item number 2, Mayor Bronin with the company resolution authorizing the city to accept a grant of $1,354,492 for the Department of Health and Human Services Enhanced Detection, Response, Surveillance, and Prevention of COVID-19 work for the State of Connecticut's Department of Public Health. Item number 3, Mayor Bronin with accompanying resolution authorizing the mayor to apply for and accept a grant in the amount of $750.36 from the Connecticut Department of Transportation Highway Safety Office for enforcement of distracted driving. Item number 5, Mayor Brown with accompanying resolution authorizing the city to accept ongoing payment from the Ed Advance, a regional education service sector, as an agent for the Connecticut Office of State Child Education to provide funding to support family child care providers as provided by OEC as a COVID-19 pandemic. The minimum amount that the city will be paid for providing this service is $35,000, but may be increased subject to the state's order. Item number 6, Mayor Bronin with the company resolution to formally endorse the proposed Equality Act, House Resolution 5 in the United States Congress. Item number 9, Mayor Bronin with accompanying resolution authorizing the city to accept a check in the amount of $200 for the City of Hartford's Film and Media Commission. Item number 10, Mayor Bronin with accompanying resolution, substitute resolution for authorizing the city to enter into a tax fixing agreement with Mitchell Farmington Valley.
Excuse me, Firefox needs your attention.
Try that again. Item number 10, Mayor Bronin with accompanying substitute resolution for authorizing the city to enter into a tax fixing agreement with Mitchell Farmington Valley LLC of Land Rover dealership at 77 Western Street. Item number 12, Mayor Bronin with accompanying resolution authorizing the city of Hartford to accept a donation of $1,875 from the Metropolitan District Commission, MDC, to support, the Metropolitan District Connecticut, MDC, to support public events hosted by the Department of Families, Children, Youth, and Recreation. Item number 14, Mayor Bronin with accompanying resolution authorizing the city to continue funding the Parkville Senior Center and Hispanic Senior Center through agreement with Parkville Senior Center, Inc. and Catholic Charities. Item number 19, report from the Planning with Resolution Planning, Economic Development, and Housing Committee with accompanying resolution, which would authorize the acquisition of property located at 522 and 532 Ann Uccello Street. Item 20, the Planning, Economic Development, and Housing Committee with accompanying resolution, which would authorize the transfer of 7 city-owned properties to the Hartford Land Bank. Item 21, Equality, Life, and Public Safety Committee with accompanying resolution confirming the appointment of Frank Barrows, Lionel Thompson, Diego Lopez, Reverend Elizabeth Arpalumpum, LaShawn Robinson, Charlie Ortiz, and Kyla Jackson to the Police Accountability Review Board. Item 22, Quality of Life and Public Safety Committee with accompanying resolution confirming the appointment of Eric W. Crawford to the Civilian Police Review Board. Item number 23, Labor, Education, Workforce, and Youth Committee with accompanying resolution requesting that the City Council of Hartford assembled on this 10th day of August 2020 urge Alden Global Capital to cease any further layoffs or buyouts that have decimated the staff, not to seek increased ownership interest in Tribune Publishing, and to consider in good faith any offers from outside entities that would return Tribune Publishing newspaper to a civic-minded ownership. Item number 25, Operations, Management, Budget, and Government Accountability Committee with accompanying resolution for authorizing the city to enter into a tax fixing agreement with Mitchell Farmington Valley LLC, owner of a Land Rover dealership at 77 Western Street. Item number 26, Operations, Management, Budget, and Government Accountability Committee with accompanying resolution which would authorize the transfer of 7 city-owned properties to the Hartford Land Bank. Item number 31, Public Works, Parks, Recreation, and Environment Committee with accompanying substitute resolution that will authorize the city to enter into an agreement with Bushnell Park Foundation to help achieve our mutual goal of restoring, preserving, and promoting the park. Item number 36, ordinance making general fund appropriations to reflect project costs relative to public improvements in the Martin Luther King School. Item number 39, resolution calling on the governor and legislature of the state of Connecticut to enact by executive order and/or legislation provision to protect the ability of all Hartford residents to have equal access and opportunities in education and employment. Second.
Thank you, Councilman Sanchez. A motion has been made and properly second. Are there any discussions? Councilman LeBron?
Yes, thank you. Thank you to all the people that are chiming in and watching via the city. I want to apologize to the constituents on my behalf. I have to do better. I have to do better with my research, and I have to do better with time. Oftentimes, in policy making decisions and in politics, we're forced to make decisions at the last moment. But to me, it's important to sit back, think, and look at all items. And sometimes we have to slow down in order to make the best decision. We cannot make decisions in haste, and we cannot make decisions based upon political processes that have existed. So my pledge to the community is this, is that moving forward, I will do better. I will do research, and I will take my time and not allow processes to dictate the way that I vote. So moving forward, I will ensure that for all the people that have voted for me and all the people that have trusted in me. So I apologize to all my constituents, and I pledge to do things better.
Are there any other discussions? Mr. Clerk, could you please call the roll? I apologize. I just unmuted you, Mr. Clerk. Could you please start it over?
Councilwoman Bermudez,
Yes.
Councilman Clark,
Yes.
Councilman Gale,
Yes.
Councilman LeBron,
Yes.
Councilman Mitchum,
Yes.
Councilwoman Rosado,
Yes.
Councilwoman Rossetti,
Yes.
Councilman Sanchez,
Yes.
Councilwoman Surgeon.
Yes.
Motion pass.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. Mr. Majority Leader, you have the floor.
Thank you, Madam President. Through you, I'd like to make the motion that we receive the following items. Item number 17, Labor, Education, Workforce, and Youth Committee. Communication concerning updates from the Director, the Department of Children, Youth, and Recreation, Kim Oliver. Update summer camp, budget allocations, early learning centers, after-school recreation, and HPS plans for school year. Item number 18, Public Works, Parks, Recreation, and Environment Committee. Communication to postpone action to committee level until the MyRec Field Reservation System operational review and improvement plan is completed, on resolution requesting that a more comprehensive policy by the Department of Public Works be put in place to best help navigate the needs of the community to become effective by winter of fiscal year 2021, and a request for a proposal to hire a third-party contractor to assist with managing of Hartford's Fields reservation process. Item number 24, Operations Management, Budget, and Government Accountability Committee, report on proposed ordinance making general fund appropriations to reflect project costs relative to public improvements in the Martin Luther King School. Item number 27, Committee of the Whole, report on ordinance amending Chapter 2, appointments of departments, requirements, Section 850, residency requirements of the municipal code. Item 28, Committee of the Whole with report on ordinance amending Chapter 2, Article 18, Section 2-860, motor vehicle policy of the Hartford Municipal Code. Item number 29, Committee of the Whole with report on ordinance amending Article 5, Division 5, Section 2-16 of the Hartford Municipal Code. Item number 30, Quality of Life and Safety Committee application to postpone action on resolution requesting that the Court of Common Council creates a process whereby the mayor must choose a majority of the members of the Civilian Police Review Board from among candidates nominated by community organizations specifically focused on serving communities impacted by over-policing, with a list of such organizations determined and comprised of at least 2 members who are under the age of 26, conviction or adjudication, under the age of 26 when they are appointed, and at least 1 member who has previously been incarcerated after a criminal conviction or an adjudication of juvenile delinquency.
Second.
Thank you. A motion has been made and properly second. Are there any discussions? Any discussions? Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilwoman Bermudez. Councilwoman Bermudez. Clark.
Yes.
Councilman Gale.
Yes.
Councilman LeBron.
Yes.
Councilman Mitchum.
Yes.
Councilwoman Rosado.
Yes.
Councilwoman Rossetti.
Yes.
Councilman Sanchez.
Yes.
Councilwoman Surgeon.
Yes.
Councilwoman Bermudez.
Yes.
Motion passed.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. Mr. Majority Leader, you have the floor.
Thank you, Madam President. Through you, I would like to make a motion that we refer the following items. Item number 15 to the Operations Management, Budget, and Government Accountability Committee. Mayor Bronin with accompanying resolution authorizing the city to transfer to the suspense book of $1,412,722.52 in outstanding delinquent personal property and motor vehicle taxes for tax bills that the tax collector has certified as unlikely to be collected. In most instances, the businesses associated with the tax have closed and owner cannot be located or the owner is deceased. Item number 16, to the Operations Management, Budget, and Government Accountability, with accompanying resolution authorizing the mayor to make transfers in the fiscal year 2020 general fund budget. Item number 4, to the Quality Life and Public Safety Committee, Mayor Bronin with accompanying resolution authorizing the acceptance of a grant award under the fiscal year 20 coronavirus emergency supplement funding program from the Office of Justice Programs at the United States Department of Justice in the amount of $598,041. Item number 7, to the Quality Life and Public Safety Committee, Mayor Bronin with accompanying resolution authorizing the city to accept a grant of $173,000 from the United States Department of Homeland Security's Federal Emergency Management Agency's fiscal year 2019 assistance firefighters grant program to fund cancer screenings for all Hartford firefighters. Item number 8, to the Quality Life and Public Safety Committee, Mayor Bronin with accompanying resolution authorizing the city to accept a grant of $180,226.82 from the United States Department of Homeland Security's Federal Emergency Management fiscal year 2020 assistance to firefighters grant program COVID-19 supplementary to provide funds for the purchase of PPE and related supplies, including reimbursements to prevent, prepare for, and respond to coronavirus. Item number 33. Ordinance amending Article 5, Division 5, Section 2-196 of the Hartford Municipal Code. Item number 40, to the Public Building and Dedication Committee. Resolution by the Court of Common Council requesting superimpose the name of Congressman John R. Lewis on Elm Street in Trinity to be displayed as Congressman John R. Lewis Way. Item number 41, resolution requesting that the basketball court located at Elizabeth Park in Hartford be named Coach Jack Phelan Court in memory of Coach Jack Phelan's legacy. Items number 37 and 38 to the Columbus Ad Hoc Committee. Item 37, resolution requesting that those now living on these ancestral lands recognize that harm was done in the pursuit of shared responsibility and of promoting knowledge about indigenous people, unifying communities, combating prejudice, and eliminating discrimination against indigenous people, and that on the second Monday in October each year, the city of Hartford will support events that encourage understanding and appreciation of indigenous peoples. Changes shall not affect the status of the second Monday of October for each year as a publicly recognized holiday. Item number 38, resolution by the Court of Common Council requesting to remove the name of Columbus Boulevard and rename it Dr. Frank T. Simpson Boulevard, named after one of Hartford's historic civil rights champions.
Second.
Councilman Nixon?
Thank you, Madam President. I noticed in this list of items to be referred that item number 34, the substitute ordinance amending Chapter 2, Article 18, Section 2-860, Motor Vehicle Policy of the Hartford Municipal Code, is not referred to the Public Safety Committee. However, we have already voted to accept the report of the Committee of the Whole on that item, and the Committee of the Whole referred that matter back here with no recommendation, yea or nay, specifically so that it could be referred to a committee. So now that leaves that matter up for action when we haven't truly had an opportunity to discuss it and perhaps get it to a place where it could be approved, because I know there were some objections to some of the language. We sent it over specifically to send it to another committee. So I would move to amend add 34 to the Council President's motion.
Point of clarification.
Councilman Gale?
Just a point of clarification, Council Mictum, to what committee do you want it to be referred to?
Public safety seems like the one.
Okay, so the motion is to amend Majority Leader's referral list to add item number 34 to be referred to the Quality of Life and Public Safety Committee.
Correct. Thank you, Councilman.
Councilwoman Surgeon?
Yeah, through you, Madam President. Item number 38. Can we take that up because I can't vote sending that to ad hoc committee? How do we do that?
I'm sorry, what was that, Councilwoman Surgeon?
Item number 38.
Yes.
Do we vote individually if it's sent to the committee? I will not be voting on 38 to be sent to the ad hoc committee. How do I go about doing so?
When the town clerk calls the roll, you abstain from any of the items that you'd like.
Okay, thank you, Madam.
Okay, so we have a motion. So, Councilman Nixon, is that a motion that you're proposing on the floor? So,
yes.
Okay, so it would be my recommendation to put this on action, and it's my understanding that some of the other council members did discuss in the COM meetings and have had conversations regarding the resolution, that it'd be best if you would take in consideration everyone's concern and rewrite up a new resolution and send it through, that we would send it over to public safety. That way, once you would take everyone's consideration in place, the resolution would go through with the support of your council members. Yes, go ahead.
I'll do that if I have to, but it seems to me, we sent the thing to the committee of the whole. Most folks showed up not having a good understanding of it and not disposed to have much of a discussion about it, which, I mean, I thought that's what committee meetings were for. And then we sent it to the committee of the whole. And I should note, before the committee of the whole, I reached out to several of my colleagues to have the discussions so that the committee of the whole meeting would be productive. And then we got there, folks didn't know what it was, they didn't know it was in the old thing, and they said, well, we're not sure, let's send it on to another committee. Now we're here to send it to another committee, and you're saying, we're gonna vote it down so you can write it over again. And what I see happening here is that truest truth of government is that when people want something to die, or they don't want to deal with that thing, they send it to committee. Except you're not just sending it to committee, you're sending it to two committees, and I'm gonna have to come back and send it back to the committee of the whole, back to another committee. Why don't we just send it to the committee in the first instance? What are committees for if not to work out the differences?
Councilman Sanchez?
I would like to suggest that maybe, Councilman Mictum, you may, not sure if you agree to this, we can postpone it. You can draft, a similar, but a correction in the resolution of what we all discussed about to support that resolution. And then and then bring it back and vote on it on the next meeting, council meeting.
Councilman Mixtum?
I take Councilman Sanchez's suggestion. It makes sense. I would again just say it can't go to the Public Safety Committee tomorrow because there wouldn't be enough notice. So in any event, it would have to go to the next one. So we could put it on for that next agenda, and in that time, I could address everyone's concerns. We could get there. The committee could make the amendments, and we would make this whole thing happen faster instead of slow. So I'm just asking people to send it to a committee. I mean, this should be uncontroversial.
Second.
Is your response now that you like to make a motion to send this agenda item back to public safety?
You're asking?
No.
I'm sorry. I'm asking
speak?
Councilman Mixtum, is his motion to take this item agenda and send it to public safety and be removed from action?
Yes.
Okay. And so you have a motion on the floor. Do you have a second?
Second.
Okay, a motion has been made and properly second. Mr. Clerk, could you please call the roll on Councilman Mixtum's motion?
Okay, Councilman Mixtum, please state your motion so I have it correct.
I move to take agenda item number 34 and send it to the Quality of Life and Public Safety Committee. Remove it from the action list, send it to Quality of Life and Public Safety.
Okay, just for point of clarification, Madam President, you had a motion for the referred items that there was no vote taken on.
Correct.
So
That is correct.
this item was not part of that referred item. You taking it out of order?
We're adding it to the referred items list.
Add it to the referred. Okay, make sure I had. Okay, thank you. And one more question. Going to vote on that motion and then you're going to add it to the referred list.
Yes.
Okay. So the role will be taken to refer this to referred list. Councilwoman Bermudez.
Yes.
Councilman Clark.
Pass.
Councilman Gale.
Yes.
Councilman LeBron.
Yes.
Councilman Mixtum.
Yes.
Councilwoman Rosado.
Yes.
Councilwoman Rossetti.
Yes.
Councilman Sanchez.
Abstain.
Councilwoman Surgeon.
You're on mute.
Sorry. I'm abstaining.
Councilman Clark.
Yes.
Motion passed.
Thank you,
Thank
Mr.
you.
Clerk. Now we're back on the original motion.
Council President,
Yes.
if I may, in the same way that we, as part of the discussion, Councilman Migdom was able to move that item number 34, from action to referral. I would like to make a motion to move item number 42 that is up for action and add it to the referral list. This is the resolution calling for a description to be provided when there are ordinances. I would like that to be moved to a referred item. So I spoke, and the background is I did speak to Thea about this, and welcomes the opportunity to speak about this at a committee level.
Second.
Well,
Councilman Gale?
yeah, just a point of clarification, to what committee again is the motion? I understand it's a motion to refer it, but refer it to what committee?
Planning, Economic Development.
PEDH?
The business requesting that any proposed ordinance related to the clerk's office. What would that be? What would that be sent to PD&H? Is it a economic development item?
I'll just give an example. So it could actually be any committee, but I'll give you an example. So last year, when council had to vote and approve the housing ordinance, which was a 45-page ordinance, a document that was the lengthiest ordinance that we've seen thus far, there was a lot of confusion from the community on, the ordinance itself. And so one of the things that we got in terms of feedback, and actually it was from then Director Eric Johnson from Development Services, it would be great if the city had a policy for an FAQ as part of the presentations during ordinances. So that's just some background, but technically it could be sent to any committee, but that's just an example.
So wouldn't this?
Councilwoman Surgeon?
So with that example, Councilman Bermuda, that's more of an operational item, wouldn't you think? I would think it's more operational, letting the administration know when they're doing this, that this needs to be done. Am I correct in saying that?
It's not just on the administration's end, it would also be for us as well, so that when we're introducing an ordinance, we also follow that same process as well.
Okay.
But if you have a recommendation of another committee that you'd like to see it referred to, I'm open to it as well.
I mean, basically, it certainly sounds to me as an operational item. If you are going to move this item, I would like to see XYZ added to move this item. If you're going to introduce a resolution, I would like to see, a Q&A added to any ordinance that either the administration or council introduce. It's a policy decision, so I basically no idea where to send it to.
All right, so maybe operations,
Yep.
management, and budget. So I would like to make a motion to send item number 42 to operations, management, and budget.
There's a motion that's been made and properly seconded. Mr. Clerk, could you please call the roll?
Councilwoman Bermudez.
Yes.
Councilman Clark.
Abstain.
Councilman Gale.
Yes.
Councilman LeBron.
Yes.
Councilman Mitchum.
Yes.
Councilwoman Rosado.
Abstain?
Councilwoman Rossetti.
Yes.
Councilman Sanchez,
Abstaining.
Councilwoman Surgeon.
Abstaining.
Motion passed.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. Now we're back to our regular motion that was properly seconded. Call the roll, Mr. Clerk.
Councilwoman Bermudez,
Point of clarification, is item number 37 on the referral list?
It was read, per my understanding, it was sent to the ad hoc committee.
So as part of our earlier discussion, we had requested for that item to be placed in action.
Councilwoman Bermudez, that resolution was referred to the ad hoc committee.
Item number 37, per the motion on the floor right now, you all would like to add it to the ad hoc committee.
Correct.
Even though the makers, myself and Councilman McDum, requested during our meetings prior to this one that we place it on action.
That is correct. Are there any further questions? Councilman Mixtum?
Then I would, if that is the case, that it is to be referred, I would move that it be placed up for action. In other words, removed from the referral list and placed on the action.
Is
Second.
okay. Mr. Clerk?
yes.
Councilman Mixtum.
Why Councilwoman Bermudez and I are making this action before we call the roll. I don't want to hold it up a lot, but I appreciate the work of the ad hoc committee. I think it has a lot of good work to do, but this is one that is fairly straightforward. It's about fundamentally changing the name of a holiday. I don't think there's much, if any, controversy among any of us here about it. It also happens to be a holiday that's coming up. And so we could get there and have changed the name. I don't think we're at a point where we need to hear from anyone who wants to keep the name Columbus Day. I think the status of Columbus, good and bad in history, is pretty well established. So I think at this point, we can still let the ad hoc commission do the good work it has to do, but we can get right to this one. We don't need to discuss it anymore. We can just do the thing and have it ready for the holiday in question.
Councilman LeBron?
So what I'm hearing, if I'm listening to everyone correctly, is that there's consternation around what we're going to do with Columbus. What there is agreement on is what Columbus represented before, how his history was created, and how his history was established in our society, in our country, and in Hartford specifically. What the ad hoc committee is essentially set out to do is to address those concerns by galvanizing the community while we have this opportunity before us. What happens with one-off or whatever language, maybe one-off is a bit too strong, but these separate resolutions, what it allows for is a Pandora's box of responses. So essentially what you can see is 9 different resolutions by 9 different council people on 9 different things that they would like to rename the holiday. We have an opportunity now to come together and coalesce as a team, regardless of party, regardless of area where we live, race, gender, ethnicity, to come together on items referred as Columbus. Now, if we want to be able to do this, the other thing too is, again, there are several items that need to be renamed Columbus. Not named Columbus. So therefore, I mean, we could keep going and going and going into infinity beyond. And you know what's going to happen, in my opinion, is that things will remain the same. And so I think we're all in the agreement of change. So let's close this Pandora's box and move it forward and move it to the ad hoc committee. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman LeBron. With that said, Councilwoman Bermudez, would you like to withdraw your motion?
I'll be withdrawing my motion, but I do want to affirm that understanding prior to this meeting today that this item would be put up for action.
Duly noted. So we're back to Councilman Mixtum.
I think technically it was my motion, so I also will withdraw it.
Thank you for the clarification. So, Mr. Clerk, we're back to our original motion. Could you please call the roll?
Bermudez.
Okay.
Councilman Clark.
Yes to everything but item number 38. No to item number 38.
Councilman Gale.
Yes.
Councilman LeBron.
Yes.
Councilman Mitchum.
Yes.
Councilwoman Rosado.
Yes.
Councilwoman Rossetti.
Yes.
Councilman Sanchez.
Yes.
Councilwoman Surgeon.
Yes, for everything except for item number 38.
Councilwoman Bermudez.
Yes.
Motion passed.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. Mr. Majority Leader, you have the floor.
Thank you, Madam President. Through you, I'd like to make the motion that we postpone item number 32, which is an ordinance amending Chapter 2, Appointments of Department Heads Requirements, Section 850, Residency Requirements of the Municipal Code.
Second.
The motion has been made and properly second. Are there any discussions? Councilman Mixtum.
I'm not going to oppose it, but I do want to say that, I oppose the amendment. I'm glad that we're not voting on it, so I'll never be mad at postponing it. We should postpone it forever. But what we should really do is just vote it down already. We've been postponing it and sending it to committee and postponing it. We should just kill the thing. It's a bad idea.
Are there any other discussions? Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilwoman Bermudez.
Yes.
Councilman Clark.
Yes.
Councilman Gale.
Yes.
Councilman LeBron.
Yes.
Councilman Mitchum.
Yes.
Councilwoman Rosado.
Yes.
Councilwoman Rossetti.
Yes.
Councilman Sanchez.
Yes.
Councilwoman Surgeon.
Yes.
Motion passed.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. Mr. Majority Leader, you have the floor.
Thank you, Madam President. Through you, I'd like to make the motion that we place the following items up for action. Item number 11, Mayor Bronin, with a substitute resolution authorizing the mayor to enter into a ground lease for the Hilton Hotel pursuant to a sale of the hotel.
Second.
Motion has been made and properly second. Are there any discussions? Councilman Gale.
Yeah, thank you, Madam President. First, let me say that I do support the resolution that we enter into this new agreement to allow the Hotel Hilton to go up for sale with a buyer, understanding that if they buy the building, they will have they will know what their tax arrangement is with the city of Hartford. And the term sheet, as I understand it, provides a tax arrangement for any prospective buyer that does not have a minimum tax. The tax will at all times be a percentage of your gross revenues, and hopefully this is attractive enough to allow this hotel to be purchased by someone And we certainly have a policy interest in making sure that the hotel stays open. That's very important. It provides jobs here in the community as well as a service to businesses here in the community. But more importantly, this is a union hotel. It's the only union hotel in the city of Hartford. And traditionally, going back now for many years, we have supported this hotel by giving it tax assistance, specifically because it's a hotel. And so, so everyone understands the policy issue here. The city, we have many hotels in the city of Hartford, and there are only 2 that have tax assistance. And this is one of them, and this one's very clear. It has the tax assistance because they've agreed to be a union shop throughout that time. But like so many tax assistance agreements that we make, and more recently that we've been making, I've encouraged this body, and quite separate and apart from me, other people have had certainly the same feeling that there ought to be clawback provisions when an owner who's getting tax assistance from the city is then going to turn around and get make some profit off the building. If the city's been a partner with you, and I'm going to call it a partnership agreement, then the city ought to benefit in some way. And so I had proposed, with respect to this particular deal, that if indeed these owners are to walk away with money in their pocket from the sale of the building, that the city ought to participate in that. We've not had an opportunity to really discuss this at length. We haven't had an opportunity to send it to committee, and I don't believe we are going to, because it's been represented to us that time is of the essence. But just again, to give an example so that everyone understands what I was talking about and am talking about, my understanding is there's about $6 million worth of debt and closing costs associated with the sale of this hotel. So that if a buyer came in tomorrow and offered $6 million for this hotel, the owners would get a big zero. We'd get a new owner. We'd still have a union shop. That would be a great thing. We'd get taxes going forward at a reduced rate, but we'd still have something on the rolls. On the other hand, if somebody comes in and offers $10 million for this building tomorrow, they have $6 million worth of payoffs they have to make. The owners are going to put $4 million in their pocket. Bully for them. They spent a lot of money on this over the years. I don't know what their taxes are. I don't know anything about their accounting. So it's hard to say whether, they truly lost money or they had paper losses, whatever. They're walking away with $4 million. My point would be that the city ought to be sharing in that. It hasn't been presented to us that way. I've not been successful. I've had conversations with the ownership group over the last 2 or 3 days. It's been represented to me that if we change this deal the way I would like to see it changed, and mind you, I propose that the city get 10% of any net proceeds, and was certainly willing to listen to any counter offers. But bottom line was, I was told that that would be a non-starter for this deal. I accept that fact, and I'm not looking to amend it, but I did want to make those statements to this body so that we constantly have it in mind that we need to be thinking on these kind of deals, that if somebody's going to cash out at some point in time and we've been a partner, we ought to participate in that. Thank you very much, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Councilman Gale. Councilwoman Rossetti.
Thank you, Council President. I just want to thank my colleague, Councilman Gale, for his sentiments, particularly when it comes to what I said the other night about, certainly there are people in a position, particularly the people now that you were talking about, John, who have, are suffering some kinds of financial losses as far as the hotel. But let's never forget the thousands of people in our city who are far worse than that. And certainly I appreciate what Councilman Gale is saying as far as us going forward, but let us always be mindful of the people that need our attention. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman Rossetti. And Councilman Gale, I too support you on the sentiments you just expressed to all of our colleagues here and the public watching. Councilman LeBron?
I want to double click or triple or quadruple click on Councilman Gale's response in regards to clawback. But I do have a question for you, Councilman Gale. Did you say that the 10% request would be a non-starter?
That is correct. That's in my discussions with the ownership group. Any amount of clawback. I mean, I threw out 10%. If they'd have come back with 5%, I would have said to this body, let's take it. That's I mean, to me, it's symbolic more than it's real. But what I was told was that that would be a non-starter, and they would potentially just completely walk away from it.
Thank you for that clarification.
Are there any other questions, any other discussions? Councilwoman Surgeon.
I definitely support Councilman Gale. I call it the Gale clawback. From my working with Councilman Gale over the last 6 months, he has developed that certain standard that if the city is going to, become a partner, do some tax credit, he's always said that, the city should benefit if there's any profit made, since the city has, over the last several years, have been a partnership with the program. So, John, I do support what you're saying. I definitely am supporting this item for approval tonight for a couple of reasons. Number one, we have a lot of people in the city of Hartford have lost their jobs over the last 6 months due to the pandemic. And here's an opportunity to work with an organization to try to save these union jobs. I wanted to see if this item could have gone to a committee because I felt that the community needed to hear all the agreement, all the information. Not all of us gather and read information. And so, but due to the time sensitive and trying to approve this item, I am going to support it. But one of the things I want to let the community know is that whenever there's important information that this council body decides, it's really imperative that we send items to council for much more discussion. Due to the sensitiveness of this item, I am going to change my standard this one time because I do believe that saving these union jobs, it is important. And we really do not want to see a hotel with the status of the Hilton, the keys being given back to us as a city. So I just want to let the community hear my voice and why I'm supporting this item tonight. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you, Councilwoman Surgeon. Councilman LeBron.
So, I just want to clear up the confusion from my opening statement. This was one of the items that I had much deliberations on, and I, like my colleague, Councilwoman Surgeon, do believe in processes. But oftentimes we're forced to put on the gas and have to expedite things. And sometimes, we can feel uneasy about those things. But this was one of the items that I would have loved to have more deliberations on, joint conversations with my colleague, Councilman Gale, understand the other folks in terms of, what would be the provisions. But, oftentimes we have to rush and do these things. And so by putting it on the scale of understanding and keeping jobs, I choose to go on the ladder and keep jobs for folks. But these are the types of things that we're talking about. And I agree with Councilwoman Surgeon that we have to slow down and we have to do processes. And that's why I apologize to the committee. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman LeBron. Are there any other discussions? Councilman Clark.
I'll make this brief. Much has been said. I think this is where we stepped up to the plate to make a very, quick, but very informed decision on saving a landmark, an iconic hotel in our city of Hartford that has attached to it many jobs, particularly for Hartford residents. So I'm glad to hear that the colleagues are looking to support this agreement, and I am willing to work. I pinned this the Gale clause early on. I forgot what project we were discussing with, but I am willing to work with Councilman Gale to institute a permanent Gale clause with development deals in the city of Hartford, because he is. If you can't think of anything else about John Gale, just know that he is very much for the city of Hartford and making sure that the city is not shorted on any development deal that comes in. So thank you all.
Councilman.
Surgeon?
No, I'm definitely going to rename this, not the clawback, it's the Gale. Okay, let's make sure we get this correct. Okay, Councilman Gale, as I said, for the 6 months I've worked with him, he has not changed his standard.
You're going to have to send that to the dedications committee.
Well, we're definitely naming this the Gale back. Okay.
Thank you, Councilor Gale. Thank you. Mr. Clerk, could you please call the roll?
Council President, my hand has been raised for
Oh,
some time.
I don't see your picture on the screen, Councilwoman Bermudez, but go ahead.
Oh, that's weird. Did the camera just freeze?
Yeah, it's just WB.
Okay. All right. I'll have to refresh my image.
Okay.
But I would like, as working family, can people hear me? From our end as working family party members, before making this decision on how we were going to vote on this, we did have an opportunity to speak directly with union members, Unite Here members, who are employees, active employees of the Hilton Hotel here in Hartford. And our decision is based on our conversations with them, with these members, with these employees, many of whom live in Hartford. There's over 137 employees who work at the Hartford Hilton Hotel. We understand that it's a tough time right now with the pandemic, and we certainly don't want anyone to lose their jobs. And so we are basing our decision on the conversations that we had with union membership and the employees who work at the Hilton, who want to have a good living wage and who want to continue being union members and who want to continue working at the Hilton Hotel. And they saw this as the best opportunity on the table. And with that, I will be supporting this item. I would like to mention, however, that on the side of receiving information, ongoing information from the administration, specifically from Development Services, we had requested updates about the Hilton Hotel for several months now, and it wasn't until this agenda item came before us that's when, in our packets, that's when we received the information. But thanks to the ability of being able to talk to Attorney Rifkin, and as well as the administration, and with the help of the union members, then we were able to gather some more information on this. So thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman Bermudez. Are there any other discussions? Thank you, Mr. Clerk. Could you please call the roll? Let me just unmute you. Go ahead, please.
Councilwoman Bermudez.
Yes.
Councilman Clark.
Yes.
Councilman Gale.
Yes.
Councilman LeBron.
Yes.
Councilman Mitchum. Councilman Mitchum.
You're on mute.
Yes.
Councilwoman Rosado.
Yes.
Yes.
Councilwoman Rossetti.
Yes.
Councilman Sanchez.
Yes.
Councilwoman Surgeon.
Yes.
Motion passed.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. Mr. Majority Leader, you have the floor.
Thank you, Madam President. Through you, this is our last action item. Item number 35, a resolution calling upon the mayor to suspend. Sorry, I make a motion that we place for action item number 35, a resolution calling upon the mayor to suspend Police Chief Jason Thornton from all jobs and duties, relieve him of the city-issued weapon and city-issued report until such time as the independent audit completes his investigation, and the mayor or the Court of Common Council can take appropriate action in response to the findings.
Second.
We have a motion that's been made and properly seconded. Any discussions? Any discussions? Councilman LeBron, followed by Councilman Mixton.
So, if we enacted, item number 35, which calls to suspend Police Chief Jason Thornton from all his duties, at the time that this was presented, would he be coming off suspension at this point?
I believe not. The Internal Audit Commission still has not completed their internal investigation. Best of my knowledge.
Thank you. So to the creator of this resolution, was this suspension, it looks like Councilman Mickham is out. So was this suspension intended to go into perpetuity until the audit commission did its findings? I'm sorry, I just have my notes here. If Councilman Mickham.
I'm not sure if he heard you.
Councilman Mickham, can you hear me? Okay, I withdraw my question. I don't want to hold up the meeting.
He's saying that his connection is slow. His internet connection is not the best right now. It's spotty. Would you be able to type in the question then?
I'll just text him directly.
Go ahead, Councilman.
No, I think my connection is back now because now I'm hearing y'all say that. That's me. Well, I didn't hear Councilman LeBron's question, but now I can hear everything. So I think whatever was happening is passed. If he could quickly ask it again, I hate to be a pain.
No problem. So it's two questions. The first question is, again, I only have my sub notes, and since you're the maker of the resolution, without going into the meeting, number one is, if we had acted on this as a council body back in over the summer, would this suspension now be over, number one? And then number two, was this suspension supposed to go in perpetuity until the audit commission had its findings?
So through you, Madam President, I can answer that. Because we haven't reached the committee hasn't issued its final report. I don't think I missed it. Had we voted on this favorably back when, he would still be suspended, and the intention of it was to suspend him until the independent audit committee would issue its report, at which time presumably the suspension would end and this body could take some other action or take no action. And I note that it was meant to be a suspension with pay.
Councilman LeBron, do you have any other further questions?
No, not at this time. Thank you.
Thank you. I know, Councilman Mixon, that you had your hand was raised before Councilman LeBron spoke. You have now the floor.
Only because because of my connection, I wasn't sure if we were voting to postpone this again or if we were taking action.
The motion on the floor is for action.
Thank you.
Yeah. Any other further discussions on this matter? Mr. Clerk, please call the roll. Let me unmute you, please. Go ahead.
Councilwoman Bermudez.
Yes.
Councilman Clark.
No.
Councilman Gale.
No.
Councilman LeBron.
Only because we're taking action, no.
Councilman Mitchum. Councilman Mitchum.
Yes.
Councilwoman Rosado.
Yes.
No.
Councilwoman Rossetti.
No.
Councilman Sanchez.
No.
Councilwoman Surgeon.
No.
Motion failed.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. Mr. Majority Leader, you have the floor.
Thank you, Madam President. Through you, I'd like to make the motion that we enter into executive session, may agree with the company resolution requesting to enter into executive session during the council meeting on Monday, September 14th, 2020, to discuss the potential settlement of the workers' compensation matter, Otto Dow versus the City of Hartford.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion has been made and properly second. To our viewers, we will now log off from this meeting.
Madam President, point of order. We have to
Yes.
take a roll. We have to take a roll. Roll call.
Yes, I'm gonna get to we are going to have to log off from this meeting after we take our roll call to go into executive session. But once the executive session is finished, we will come back, resume the meeting and do the roll call. Are there any discussions regarding this motion? Any discussions? Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilwoman Bermudez.
Yes.
Councilman Clark.
Yes.
Councilman Gale.
Yes.
Councilman LeBron.
Yes.
Councilman Mitchum.
Yes.
Councilwoman Rosado.
Yes.
Councilwoman Rossetti.
Yes.
Councilman Sanchez.
Yes.
Councilwoman Surgeon.
Yes.
Motion passed.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. And so we are now entering into executive session. Council members, we will have to log off and log into the other invitation from the WebEx. Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for joining us back to this regular council meeting. We have now come out of executive session. Thank you for still being with us. Mr. Majority Leader, you have the floor.
Thank you, Madam President. Through you, I'd like to make the motion that we come out of executive session.
Second.
Motion has been made and properly second. Mr. Clerk, could you please call the roll?
Councilwoman Bermudez.
Yes.
Councilman Clark.
Yes.
Councilman Gale. Councilman Gale. Councilman LeBron.
Yes.
Councilman Mitchum. Councilman Mitchum.
He's on mute.
Yes. Yes.
Councilwoman Rosado.
Yes.
Councilwoman Rossetti.
Yes.
Councilman Sanchez.
Yes.
Councilwoman Surgeon.
Yes.
Councilman Gale. You have a quorum.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. Mr. Majority Leader, you have the floor.
Thank you, Madam President. Through you, I'd like to make the motion that we take action on item number 13, which is a discussion on the settlement of the compensation matter of Otto Dow versus the City of Hartford.
Second.
Thank you, Councilman Sanchez. A motion has been made and properly second. Are there any questions or questions? Any discussions or questions? Thank you. Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilwoman Bermudez.
Yes.
Councilman Clark.
Yes.
Councilman Gale. Councilman LeBron.
Yes.
Councilman Mitchum.
Yes.
Councilwoman Rosado.
Yes.
Councilwoman Rossetti.
Yes.
Councilman Sanchez.
Yes.
Councilwoman Surgeon.
Yes.
Councilman Gale. Motion passed.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. I want to thank all the members of the public.
Madam President? Madam
Yes,
President?
yes.
I'm sorry, forgive me. I just want to make sure that the record is clarified that what the council just did was accept the recommendation to settle this workers' comp case in the amount of $54,000.
Thank you, duly noted. Mr. Clerk, do you have that in your notes?
I do now.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. Was that a yes?
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you, Attorney Rifkin, for that clarification. With no further business to discuss, I want to thank the public for joining us and for being patient. To my colleagues, everyone stay safe and have a wonderful rest of the evening. Thank you.